Stardate 1119.2021. Welcome to Star Trek Discovery Pod. Kind of smart, kind of funny podcast about new and classic Star Trek. I'm your reluctant captain, Mike Garcia. With me on a view screen, we have
Mariah Gossett
and Grant Davis.
Welcome back, guys.
It's so nice to see y'all. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah, this week, it's a good week. It's a big week. It's also a complicated week. Because Discovery is back. Not for everyone, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we're going to try to focus on the show itself, the season 4 premiere of Star Trek Discovery, Kobayashi Maru. Before we dive into the new season of Disco, I want to remind everyone who is watching us live on YouTube right now that you can drop a comment or a question in the live chat for us to read. Just type capital POD before your comment. And are you guys excited?
I'm super excited.
Brand new. Taco's excited. Yeah, people, you can drop your comments. We can pop them up on the screen.
Drop your comments. You know what? Let's just dive into it. I think it's time for some hot freaks. Hot freaks. All right, hot freak time. If you're watching or listening to us for the first time, hot freaks are our quick hot takes on the episode we are reviewing, which is season 4, episode 1 of Disco, the season 4 premiere. So if you're watching live, please drop your hot freak in the chat with a capital H and a capital F in front of it, and we'll talk about it. So give us your hot freaks. We're going to give you ours now on this episode of Disco, season 4 premiere. Who wants to go first?
Do you, fearless captain, want to go first?
I'll do it. Do it.
Do it.
All right. What an episode. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Disco's really getting like sassy this season, just leading off with like the goofy buddy comedy and like the grudge, the cat jokes, and some like really bizarre alien character designs, like with glowing CGI butterflies lifting people into the air for like a silly CGI flight chase battle. That opening was goofy, y'all. But I just like a few minutes in, I'm just like, I'm gonna go with it. This is fun. It was visually pretty goofy, but I like that it was all about the Discovery leading the charge to reestablish the Federation's good name. Like Captain Burnham and her crew are on a mission to build back that trust in the Federation all over the galaxy. So it was cool, like seeing them in the middle of that. And that's kind of a really cool mission to like hang this entire season on. And I really like the themes of this episode. Like, it seems like we're back to interrogating Burnham's sort of like savior complex, and whether or not like her compulsive need to save everyone by taking like huge risks is a sign of a great captain or one that needs a little more experience. But this is kind of something that we've kind of been through a lot before in Star Trek, not just with Burnham, but with pretty much every single captain that has like led a Star Trek show. So like exploring that theme or that idea that the captain will risk everything for its crew and for everyone is not exactly like exciting on paper. I like the way it played out here. I think it was pretty compelling. I like the way the conflict played out between Burnham and the new Federation president. That was really well done. The tension felt real and palpable. And I kind of just wanted the show to be them two in a room like all season. That was really electric. Like that scene when they're alone in the reading room and having this ideological clash, like that was really tense, and the tension kept rising and rising. It was the best scene of the episode for me. But overall, it was kind of a mixed bag. I enjoyed it, but like the tone was all over the place. The pacing and structure was kind of odd, but I kind of get that. It's a premiere. They're trying to establish a bunch of stuff up front before like diving into the real story. So I kind of forgive it for that. The gravitational anomaly thing is not super compelling, but we'll see where it goes. I love the acting. The costuming is amazing this season. All 46 versions of the Starfleet uniform we got in this episode were all great. Every scene, it was like a new uniform. The new digital sets look pretty cool. They did some cool stuff with it. Kind of a long hot break. Sorry, guys, but I'm kind of all over the map with this episode, but I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the season.
Mariah, you go.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I actually loved the cold open. It reminded me a lot of like Kelvinverse Trek, of that scene where they're kind of running through the woods because they've made a cultural faux pas. So I feel like that's picking up very TOS sort of, Kirk and Spock shenanigery kind of vibes there. I thought it was showing a side of Burnham that we, because we have a time jump, so we get to jump right in and like see her kind of being her best captain self and thinking on her feet and being that kind of leader that we know that she can be. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of different tone, but we were sort of catching up of where people were. I thought everything looked beautiful. I know they're using that new AR wall for a lot of the shoots this season. And I think you can tell because the actors actually get to literally chew on the sets. Like they get to be in those spaces and have I think more interactions. I do think, we are set up for something, I think, that is going to sort of kind of talk about an interesting sci-fi direction of the pandemic is what I'm feeling is going to happen. It's kind of that unsuredness of what's going to take hold of all of our favorite people. I do think we are setting up for whoever that kid is that took over for Bryce for this episode is probably going to die this season, would be my guess. Because that seems to happen a lot in that seat. I don't know if he knows that's a cursed seat.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was full of so many details, so many things to talk about, and I'm excited to chat through them all. But overall, I think it was a great premiere, and it's one that feels very lived in, which I think we haven't gotten from Discovery as of yet.
Cool. Grant Davis.
My hot freak. You know what? I'm leaning more toward what you were saying, Mike. I thought that it opened really corny and cheesy for me. There's something about
that's not exactly what I said.
The dialogue that just was not working. And as things progressed, as it got away from this is the premiere, we got to introduce all the characters and have them each say their little quip, and just kind of got into the meat of the story, then I started liking it a lot more. The stakes escalated, and I felt that the discussion between Burnham and the president was fantastic. It was really interesting way to analyze the Kobayashi Maru, and I also felt that it was a good middle finger to the haters of Burnham, in that, like, oh yeah, you thought it was cool when Shatner was able to cheat the Kobayashi Maru. Here she's basically given a Kobayashi Maru, and she's an unstoppable force who won't allow it. She will jump out of her spacesuit and barely breathe while kicking a piece of shrapnel out in order to save everyone, like in the nick of time, because yeah, she's a complete force of nature. I love that. I love the stakes of Book's entire planet getting destroyed, although it's kind of sad because I thought it was a really beautiful moment. One of my favorite moments was the scene with him and his quote unquote brother and the kid doing the ceremony of the sap and the blood that binds them all. I thought that it was a really beautiful, really well executed scene. And of course they're setting it up so that they can hurt us. They hurt us. Yeah. But overall, with how it started, that's just one of the things of these news shows that just want to be all like, hey, all your gang is back and we want to make you feel like you're back with the family, rather than just getting to the get to the meat of it. I want the meat of it, and I got the meat of it halfway through.
Right on. Before we get some more hot freaks from our viewers, let's Mariah.
Yes.
Can you tell everyone how they can find and subscribe to the podcast?
Oh, yeah. So if you enjoyed our hot freak and want to hear more about what we're talking about, you can find us at StarTrekPod.co, where you can find links to all of the versions of this podcast, audio and video. And you can make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Normally, we are live on Thursday nights, same day as the premiere. But due to some fun logistical things, it's Friday night, baby. So make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel so that you know when we're going live. And Grant, how else can people support this little show?
I can tell you more things, guys. In fact, if you want to support us monetarily, you can go to patreon.com/StarTrekPod and make your per episode pledge. That means that you say, if we put out an episode, you'll give us, we like $2 an episode. I think that's a good amount, because if you give $2 an episode, at most we put out 4 a month. And so that's like $8 you're down, but you join us on our private exclusive Slack. You are supporting a show that you like, and you can join us in the community with a whole bunch of other people that are awesome and come chat with us about all things Trek. It is open and welcoming and loving, and no one gets mad at me when I mistake Klingons and tribbles or whatever.
It's a very forgiving
heck.
community, very forgiving.
They don't mind if I cuss accidentally either.
I just want to remind everybody that we do have a fourth co-host, Clyde, who couldn't make it tonight, but Clyde will hopefully be back next week. Does somebody want to pull up some of these hot freaks from our chat?
Here's one.
All right.
Grant looks cute with that longer hair. Let's just linger on. That's a great hot freak. I have to agree with that.
You do look cute. You got a little swoosh. You got some mullet going on in the back.
Oh,
yeah. Are you?
I actually cut it. It was getting pretty gnarly in the back.
Our audio only listeners are really missing out.
Yeah, you should tune into our live show, or at least go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I have one here. So Kern says, can somebody else read that? It's really small on the screen.
Strong start to the season, but can't they let Michael stay happy? Kind of hard for her and Book to have that same joyful relationship after his planet being destroyed. It's true. We do see, you got to have an inciting moment that's setting off this whole season. And unfortunately, that inciting moment seems to always be some sort of trauma for poor Michael and now Book.
Well, that's just the essence of drama, right? If you want good relatable conflict in your dramatic television show, characters got to be sad, bad things got to happen to them, right? At least her planet didn't blow up. Like, come on, poor Book.
Man, yeah.
Really, if you want happy people, go watch Friends.
Choopy says, I feel some strong lines being drawn between Burnham and Kirk. I thought all the Die Hard stuff last season was similar. The Kobayashi Maru is also so strongly associated with him as well. I know, I did realize, I was thinking about it. She does not, I don't think Kirk has Kirk done the tricking
Kobayashi
of the
Maru?
Kobayashi Maru at this point prior to her leaving.
Oh, you mean well, she maybe would have read about it since she skipped past that, right? Because we're in the far future, but she wasn't around when he did it. That's true. But it was a really interesting idea to kind of interrogate the Kobayashi Maru in this, because as Grant was saying, we know that Kirk reprogrammed the Kobayashi Maru and basically cheated because he cannot accept a no-win scenario. But Michael Burnham is kind of the same. She didn't reprogram anything, but the whole point is that she cannot accept a no-win scenario, especially one that could potentially end up with casualties, not only from her crew, but from the people around her, right? So that's so palpable, that difference in ideologies between Burnham and the president, because we know as viewers, and I think if you look, if I'm a character in the show and I'm looking back on Starfleet history, I know that the greatest captains do not accept no-win scenarios. That's the stuff of Star Trek myth, of legend, right? That's what makes you that's what makes you a myth. And the greatest captains and the greatest characters in Star Trek are are kind of points for people to look up to and inspire, right? And I think that's who and what Burnham is, and the president just doesn't recognize it. But that it also makes sense that she doesn't recognize it because it seems incredibly reckless.
I think the problem there is the best captains for us to watch are the ones that are reckless and do that. But for every Kirk or Burnham, who knows how many others were reckless
How many
and died and
Freemans?
got everyone killed. Like statistically, these may be our anomalies that are fun to watch, but you know, you mitigate risk by saving the most people when you notice there's a no-win situation rather than risking everyone to save one person like Burnham will do.
So could the answer be somewhere in between, I wonder?
Perhaps.
A balance, as Sukal was saying. Is that his name? Sukal?
Mm-hmm. I do think
Saru's son.
Mm-hmm. Someone pointed out that the president keeps talking about here it is. Actually quite like the president, even though she's a bit annoying with her my father's cargo ship experience. I'm wondering if that's going to come back for anything. Like perhaps the reason she keeps telling us that she used to pilot cargo ships is going to somehow affect our plot moving forward. Who knows? Maybe it's just a throwaway line, but I feel like if you give it to me twice, perhaps there's a reason I need to know this information.
Her dad was Han Solo. Something weird. Kevin Tang says, it's a little disappointing that Grudge is just a regular cat. Not a real queen, but a normal feline carnivore.
That we know of.
As far as we know, we're not sure. They did both say queen. Maybe there's something more about this.
Kevin, I don't think that was confirmed in this episode that Grudge is just a regular cat. They might treat Grudge like a regular cat, but we don't know. We don't know.
The scanners didn't say that. They said that's what she was. And it was actually, I think it was a reference to Spot the cat. Isn't that like a line from Spot the cat?
Oh, is
from
Data's cat?
Data's cat. Yeah.
That Spot is a queen?
No. Something about the description of Spot and the description of Grudge. I don't know. Descriptors given.
I'm going to bring up Choopy's hot freak.
Okay.
And I'm going to, okay.
No, we already did this one.
Did we?
Yes,
sir.
Oh, Yeah,
we're going to keep on the Grudge train with Arthur Davids, who says we need more Grudge because she's a queen. Also, lots of fun spectacle, spinning space stations, sand. Was that a Horta or a trucker running down the corridor? How awesome is that? Oh, and was that a Horta or I don't know what that means. What's a Horta? Do either of you know? Do we need to look it up real quick?
I would have to know. I don't know. There's so much like action in this episode, but I can definitely look up. I don't think it was a Horta.
Oh, also Thomas Hill says that us and Text Trek are on at the same time.
Oh no.
We're usually on Thursdays. We are usually on Thursdays, so we're not meaning to step on toes. We didn't know, but we're buddies with the Text Trek peeps.
The devil in the
that's why you can have multiple tabs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Run both shows.
I'm actually watching that right now while this podcast. They're much better than us. Just check them out.
No, they're great.
It could be fun. A Flurkin. Wrong place.
That's an MCU thing.
Wrong universe, but
all right. Yeah. Do you want any more hot freaks or shall we?
If we have any more.
I'm sure.
Or we can just trickle them in as we go.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here's a great one. Grant looks cute with that long hair. Did I pull this one up yet already?
Oh no.
I'm gonna see if I can bookmark this one so I can come back to it.
Of course.
Anyway, let's talk about. Can we talk about this gravitation thing?
Mm-hmm.
Can I first off say that when they saw the video of the dude freaking out, and immediately Burnham's like, "Oh, what's that? Go check out that weird anomaly in the corner." And then they just go, "Bloop, bloop." Yep, gravitational thing. Something's going crazy. Let's coordinate on that. I was like, "Come on, guys! I know that you're rushed for time in this episode, but that's some rapid problem solving there."
This episode really continued the trend for me anyway, where we get some kind of like really detached, impossible threat that we don't really understand. that is not really tied to any real emotion, and the solve for it in the moment happens so quickly and so rat-a-tat, fast, that I feel that I can't get invested in the moment, and I'm just kind of watching these scenes wash over me. I think that's a bit of a problem. What do you guys feel?
I mean, on second watch, I will say when you are watching him give that description, it is a very noticeable change in the background. So I do think if I was someone who's analyzing things for things going wrong, I would have noticed that there was something there. But to your point of like, we're now on this search once again for the thing that's going to destroy the universe that we don't know what it is. I mean, but isn't that like every MCU thing? There's a force in the universe that's going to destroy us all and we have to save the world, right?
Not Thor Ragnarok.
This is just larger. I was
Though.
having an interesting discussion with somebody about how, like, I personally think the best Marvel movies are the ones where it's like an internal family conflict, right?
Civil
like those,
War.
So like Black Panther, 10 Rings, Ragnarok, those are all sort of internal family conflicts. And so I think what I was hoping for in this premiere is we would get a little bit of the taste of the conflict that we know is still there between Burnham and Stamets.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we get a little touch of that. I think we'll get it next episode, because this one was just like setting up our big bad in the universe for the season. But yeah, I was hoping for that because I think when you combine those two things, I'm so much more attached to the material. And in this one, it just felt like we're only going to discuss the really big stakes at this point, besides the moments we got with Saru, which I did appreciate for those moments that kind of slowed down within the episode.
Yeah. And is that character's name Sukal, the other Kelpian with Saru, the one who caused the burn?
I think that sounds right.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like Sukal last season, but I liked him in this episode. I like that he's matured a bit, and the fact that he's matured and he's ready to be alone with his people and let Saru go really grounded where Saru is in his journey for me. He's been on Kaminar for 5 months. He's really helped this Kelpian and helped his world change their perspective and grow along with the Federation. It's like there's a galaxy out there. And it seems like Saru is just growing into this really wise elder.
I mean, they called him the elder.
They called him the elder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be wonderful when he returns to Disco to kind of see where he fits in now that he's no longer the captain and Burnham's a captain. Is he going to go back to his science station? Is he going to be some kind of envoy to the president or some kind of diplomat? Where is he going to land? And I like the idea that he's becoming this kind of this age elder, this wise character.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think he was off of Kelpar, whatever his planet is, Kelpland? Because
he was there 5 months.
No, I mean, like, how long was he off in as a part of Starfleet? Because like he grew up most of his life until he was like at least an adolescent before he got off of there, and he was a product of a society where you are terrified all the time. So for him to be like wiser than a lot of people who had their entire life where they're aware of the larger universe. I mean, I understand the point of like deferring to the fact that he's traveled through time and he's got that wealth of experience. But I bet, relative to a lot of those other people, they have a little bit better grasp than this caveman coming up.
Well, he left Kaminar to join Starfleet and then could not return home because they were a pre-warp society at that point.
Right.
And so, but he was also there. He was essentially who created the liberation of his people when he went back and was like, hey, like, we don't have to die on this planet. So I do think it's like a bit of also his mythology, right? Like he is the liberator of their planet and of their people. And so I think Saru has earned that both through experience and through, I think, the love of his people.
Yeah, and in terms of how long he was gone, it had to be maybe a decade or a couple decades.
I mean, more
Chupi
because
reminds us that Saru was gone a long time because Giorgio was only a lieutenant when she met
right.
him.
Yeah.
And when
So
we caught up with her, she's captain.
I know. I'm just being bitchy. I just imagine like suddenly Lincoln shows up here and he's like, "Hey guys, what's this crazy device in your hand?" And we're like, "Ah, Grandpa, I don't want to have to explain what a cell phone is, let alone a flushing toilet to you."
He's Space Lincoln.
he's
Space Lincoln.
Lincoln. Goodness. I did like seeing the Baul incorporated into the scene and to see how they're sort of co-mingling as a society in that weird underwater tank, which is a really cool set piece.
Yeah, at first I was like, why are they underwater? Because of the Baul. Okay, that makes sense. And I thought that was a really good design choice, a really good aesthetic to incorporate both of those types of alien races together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we built this little Atlantis bubble so we can talk to the Baul and include them. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. There was some other cool, I mean, like props to props and costumes and everyone who kind of makes all of this world building come to life. And when they reveal the new shipbuilding station and it's the Archer, and there's that nice swell of the theme, Archer's theme. I thought that was really cool. And there was also some music moments I noticed too. I thought like when we first open up on the planet and we're like coming down in that cold open, it felt a little Kelvin versy, a little TOS-y in some of the musical kind of references I thought there. So I think they're definitely being like little tips of the hat,
What'd you guys think of the butterfly people?
I thought they were really cool.
Like I said, I thought it was just a bizarre effect to open up the season with. I don't have anything against it, but my brain was doing so much work trying to look at them and figure them out, and I don't know.
Well, I think all of those little things are mechanical.
Yeah. It was a little confounding.
So the mechanical things create their wings. I thought it was cool. It kind of reminds.
I get it. I just was like,
right.
Okay.
It almost felt like their version of programmable matter in a way, right? Like it felt like it acted in a similar way.
Yeah.
So
what do you think of them, Grant?
That was cool.
I don't know. It just seemed kind of. It seemed like a silly setup to establish some sort of conflict. I liked the resolution that Burnham was adamant of. They're attacking us, but they have a good reason to. And we're still going to try and help them and figure out a solution and also fix other problems that we can recognize they're having. Like I liked all those elements of it. The fact that like they just kind of kept attacking them felt like we need an action sequence in the beginning of the show, which is fine.
Also, like shouts to Sonequa Martin Green, who started filming season 4 12 weeks after giving birth and was doing all of this like stunt work and like running around bananas. And the fact that she so quickly slipped right back into being like Michael in such a great way.
Yeah, she's pretty badass.
She's pretty freaking badass.
I would say she's the best captain. Take that.
I mean, she's a combination. They talked about it on the Ready Room, which I also watched, and there's a little preview for next week that doesn't really give us too much other than like a fun speech from Michael. But they did talk about on the Ready Room how Michael is sort of that combination of Kirk and Picard in that she's very thoughtful and like tactical and has that sort of science background and is very knowledgeable and has like the Vulcan logic in how she was raised, but then also has that Kirk sort of like, I'm going to jump in and get it done mentality because she knows she can. So I think it's really fun. I think it's such a fun captain for us.
Yeah, I love Michael since the beginning, and in a lot of ways, we've gone through the biggest emotional journey with Michael than any other captain that we've ever seen on Star Trek. I mean, we saw a lot of growth and changes with Cisco and DS9 and with Janeway. But we've really seen Michael, not that she had to earn the captain spot, but she's earned it. And we watched every step of the way. So it kind of feels overdue that she's captain now, but it feels right. I'm really happy to see her as captain.
It feels right. It feels cool.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know all the captains, but I know that Picard's a dick, and Shatner, Kirk, he seems like a dick. And then I don't really know the other two. Well, three, I guess, if Lower Decks counts. 4?
Yeah.
Archer? Is there an Archer dude?
Yeah.
Scott
Archer,
Bakula?
Cisco,
I love Quantum Leap,
Janeway.
so maybe he's great. But if it's not Quantum Leap, I don't really care about that guy either. Anyway, Burnham's the best, is my point.
Thank you for that.
The fact that you've only got recognizable quality points for 2 captains, but still
And they're
gonna
both
call Burnham.
dicks. I can eliminate them.
Such
and move on.
A learned breakdown of Star Trek captains from one Grant Davis. Thank you.
I did like that we got to see Adira and Tilly do some scene work together, because those are 2 sort of like brainiac children on, well, Tilly's not really a kiddo anymore. Now that she is a lieutenant, very well earned. So I'm excited that we get to see those 2 doing scenes together, and we get to kind of see them both flex their we are the smart and capable science officers.
It's a nerd off.
It is a nerd off, but the best kind.
I love that. I love that Adira was able to speak with Gray with everyone else in the room and no one commenting on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just accepted that that's what's happening, because it feels like people know about the Gray situation. And then Gray mentions there might be a body coming up.
It's a bit of a gray area.
Bit of a gray area.
Bit of a gray area. Yeah, I'm excited for that continuation of that plot point as well. Yeah, I feel like we had so many pieces left from season 3 I want to see us moving forward with. So I was kind of craving some of that in this episode.
Yeah.
Which I think is the only thing that was really missing for me, because I was like, I'm here for the setup of the big bad. I'm here to see Michael be badass and to set us up for knowing that she's fully capable as a captain. I thought everything looked beautiful. The characters, of course, are fun. But yeah, I was missing some of that. Like, hey, you left us with a bunch of questions last season, and I need to start getting answers.
Well, going back to Adira, though, I like the Adira's 2 dads kind of scenes that we get. Both Stamets and Colbert are very protective and curious. When Stamets is like, how's Adira? Oh, and whoever the other ones are, they're also in danger. Don't really give a shit, but is Adira okay?
Very parental.
And then Colbert shows up at when the anomaly like destroys the space dock. Where's Adira?
Yeah, check out Adira. Are you okay?
There's 4 dead. Where's Adira?
Yeah, that was I figured we were probably getting we got an entire world destroyed. We got quite a bit of death in the very first episode of the season. And it was quite the gut punch there at the very end. But yeah,
it's kind of
so much.
Sometimes at this point where we start talking about theories, like what is the anomaly? Where does it come from? What does it mean? But at this point, I still don't feel invested in it. They haven't really given us much to really theorize about or what it could be. At this point last season, we're rattling off ideas of how the burn could have happened, because that seemed kind of tied to Star Trek lore. But this just seems so... It seems just like a random contrivance so far. That's not necessarily a criticism,
right? Because
it's just the first episode, but yeah, I'm just not into it.
I will say I saw someone in a review say that this felt like the most Star Trek premiere for Discovery. And I think I would agree in that it is it fits a lot of the tropes that we've seen in Star Trek past, right? Where we're figuring out who is the big bad for the season. There's some very large trauma that's going to happen that follows the crew for the rest of the season. And we're sort of jumping in to figure out where everyone is. And I think I've heard it was
all the ensemble.
It was like 5 to 6 months has passed since the finale last season is what I've seen. As far as like how much time has actually passed. So they've gotten quite a lot done in 6 months, restarted up the academy, which I thought was a very sweet scene. to see starting back up, and all of the young, wondrous faces, and Tilly's fun line about how it was both 1,000 years ago and yesterday, both being correct.
I do like that there was a promise in that Academy scene of returning Starfleet to its scientific exploration roots, because Starfleet has been almost dead for several years after the burn. And it was almost a message to us as fans as well, because some of the criticisms have been, oh, this is just a all action all the time show, and it seems more militaristic, which it's fine, Star Trek, but the core of Star Trek is all about those scientific ideas and exploring scientific exploration. So thinking about that, it makes me
get that in Strange New Worlds. What do people complain about?
It gives me good hope that exploring this anomaly will be more about exploring how humans solve these problems with science and with working together. More Star Trek-y.
Don't you feel like Burnham coming in though and being like, "Hey, you guys have sucked, and us time travelers are here to tell you we're gonna fix you," and be like, "Man, we were trying. Did you know there's this crazy little Kelpian kid who just destroyed all our dilithium? You don't have to insult us like our Academy was a failure up until this point."
Some of it did feel kind of smug at the beginning with like all the disco crew being like, "Yeah, we did this.
Yeah, look at us high-fiving, and
it's us. Yeah, you guys are losers. You would have been dead without us."
I did see Takako said, "I love the brief moment of Vance being a real dadmiral," and there was I don't know if y'all have seen that meme where it's just like dad, daddy, dad, daddy. Like it was very.
He is definitely a daddy.
That. Yeah,
literally and figuratively, but mostly literally. So, what did you guys? I want to see how you guys really feel about this president. If we can theorize at all, who is this president? Or does she have evil? Does she have evil intent, or is it just a politician being a politician? What do you think?
I don't know, because she is our first. So she's Bajoran, Cardassian, and human is what her full breakdown is there. And so
it's a lot.
And they did like a cool kind of history of Cardassian, Bajoran mixed race people on the Ready Room, which I thought was cool, with a lot of clips from Deep Space Nine and some clips from TNG, and kind of explaining that history for folks who maybe have not watched the old Trek episodes, about how that's kind of an interesting and yet controversial take. And I think they're very purposeful in putting her there because of that culture mixture for her. And so, I mean, in an interesting way, it's like half of me wants to trust her, because usually the Bajorans are very trustworthy people and they have good intentions and they are pretty well thought out and thoughtful. But then you got Cardassians, man. And they have been the villain for so long. And
fucking Cardies.
There it is, that Cardassian. So it's like, there's a little bit of suspicion there. But then again, we were all very suspicious of Admiral Vance in the beginning too. And then we've learned to kind of love him. So I don't know, cautiously optimistic about her, especially because she has not served in Starfleet. She's more the president of the Federation, which is the political arm rather than the Starfleet arm.
Stress-free K, that was very well said. And I think Stress-free K has a good point in the chat here. The problem is President Rylak is clearly threatened by Burnham's notoriety throughout the Federation. That could be part of the case, because it kind of reminds me of Dune. How, the Emperor is really threatened by the Atreides house because they're so popular.
And that kid's name was Leto?
That's true.
I just watched that movie.
But yeah, that is something that tends to happen when a politician is rising to power. But there was someone who doesn't seek the throne, who is very popular, that can be a threat, especially if they have warring ideologies. But there was also the the president also brought up a couple of new interesting projects that Starfleet is working on, an advanced spore drive, and a new kind of a different kind of drive that the new Voyager is going to be outfitted with. What could that possibly mean? Not just like technology wise, but for the story. Well, what's happening there?
What if? All right, ready for some fun Mariah theory corners?
Holy shit! Do I have the banner?
Do you have the banner? You're gonna throw it up? Mariah prediction. Okay. What if the Federation is eating its own tail yet again, in that the experiments to create this new spore drive has caused this gravitational anomaly?
Yes, and not just a spore drive, but it is the pathway drive as well. So there's two weird things happening.
What if this is the ship just like going through and knocking stuff out?
It's like neat, and it lit, I'm
or
very articulate tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the Federation. Perhaps it is someone who'd been like another group who'd been working on similar tech, and it's kind of gone awry, right? And something has gone amiss.
We got a comment actually from VM who says, I've seen this theory going around, totally believing it'll happen. This anomaly is caused by dilithium harming subspace, just like they tackled in that TNG episode that you both remember.
I kind of remember that. Yeah, there was this one episode where dilithium, I think
it was also the warp signatures. Yeah, essentially were harming a lot of things.
Exactly. Yeah, the warp signature was like weakening space or making it unstable, and then it was never touched on ever again.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe
that could be something.
If we're thinking about canon, that could be something. Yeah.
The other thing I thought was interesting. Did y'all watch Prodigy this week as well?
No.
Okay.
Oh, give us our Prodigy update.
So it's great. I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a really cute show. There's going to be 20 episodes for the first season, which is wild to think about another Trek series with 20 eps. So we'll probably have to just do some periodic Prodigy updates, and maybe we can do something fun for just our patrons where we're talking about Prodigy. But in this week's episode, they so the reason that it's the Protostar ship is that it has a Protostar warp drive that's powered by essentially a baby star. And so knowing that this series takes place kind of after Voyager.
Disco is after everything.
Yeah. No, I know that. I know that part. But I'm just saying is like, if the tech is around somewhere in the Picard era of things, like, and it was never fully explored, perhaps it would be fun to throw a little ball between, Prodigy and Disco. Anyway.
I don't know
what pathway warp spore drive. Oh my.
I don't know what all this stuff is.
It's just Star Trek bullshit. I am
also trying to remember, and I might have to go back and reread from, I think, season 2, right, where we had all of our mushroom encounters. Wasn't there something about using the spore drive was harming the mycelial network at that point, and they had to figure out a way to not harm the network? So perhaps this new spore drive is not solving for that issue.
What if there's all these other dead bodies popping up in the mycelial network as they're testing things?
That would be terrifying.
They have to bring back all these other little cocoons, just like what's his name, Culber.
Mushrooms are magic, guys.
Whatever that plot point was, I kind of don't remember it, except for that he came back in a cocoon from the mushroom land.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to, I think, in this season. Gray becoming sentient. We got a hint at that in this episode. Also, just seeing so many new, like that scene with the new Academy members. We got Tellarites, Ferengis, a bunch of like new species that I didn't recognize. So we're going to see a lot of like new takes on species that we've seen, and a bunch of new alien species. So I'm looking forward to that.
There was a Tribble walking around.
Do you guys think that Tribble is part of the crew?
Was that what that was?
There was a Tribble, walking around the headquarters at least.
Burnham sees it and she goes, "Oh, hi."
When it goes down the hallway, that guinea pig looking thing, that was a Tribble.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
triples.
that's huge. I thought triples were about like this big. Like a
No,
golf ball.
that was our fake triples at the studio that are like keychains. But
Well, those
no,
are the ones that came with
actual
the
triples are like the size
action
of a head.
figures.
That
So
was
those were
the-
to scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my familiarity was the ones that we had on the desk. So I thought they're all okay.
No, they're like little bunnies, you know.
I will say as far as like other characters we met, unfortunately our Starbase captain who died at the end of the episode, when he first popped up and started talking, he almost reminded me of the Duplar from Lower Decks, like personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make me nervous. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, it was just like
don't talk about me.
Those vibes. But I thought Tilly did a good job of trying to kind of handle that situation and to keep him calm and sort of show her leadership there.
Yeah.
And then we got to see the president sort of chime in as well.
He reminded me of Michael Scott doing improv. Like, I got a gun. I got a gun. What are we gonna do? It's like, all right, dude, relax.
Oh, you know what? While we're on the subject of Tilly, we got a comment earlier from Nicole saying, probably in the minority here, but I'm not a Tilly fan. And then, people were kind of discussing Tilly in this episode. I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on Tilly.
It seems like Tilly is definitely going through something, maybe still with the person out of time issue that she was going through last season. I think a lot of the crew was going through that. So we're definitely being set up for some kind of emotional journey with Tilly. But like I said all last season, I'm glad Tilly is in the position that she's in terms of her rank. I want to see more of her. It did kind of feel like they didn't really know what to do with her much in this episode, but there was so much going on and so many characters got little vignettes here. I don't know. I still like Tilly.
I like the part where Burnham recognized there was conflict with that captain of the other ship, and immediately she had just such trust and faith in Tilly. Her quick response of Tilly will handle it was like all I needed as far as like, okay, yeah, she knows Tilly's got this, and we the audience now can be reassured that like Tilly's got this because Burnham is the best captain we've ever seen, and she's not a dick.
I think too, with Tilly, she is still, I think, probably coming back into her own confidence because the ship was taken over on her watch, right? And I think she's probably having a bit of internal struggle over the fact that she was promoted for doing all of the right things in that situation, but is probably also questioning herself a bit because she isn't Burnham. And when you're watching people like Burnham and Saru and Pike all come in and be your captain, and then now you're sort of rising through the ranks and seeing what's ahead of you, I'm sure it's very intimidating.
I think everyone is great on this show, but really I just want Burnham and Reno just doing their thing. Is Reno still on this ship?
Apparently we're going to get a lot of Reno this season.
Yes.
Is that? I think we're not. I think we're going to get a lot of Reno coming in on the comm. Because I think I did read that Tig didn't show up for a lot of the filming because of COVID. So she, I think she did a lot of at-home stuff. So we might see her on the screen.
We're gonna see a little stick figure of her walking down the hall, being like, "Oh shit, get out of my way."
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had heard from the London Comic-Con or the Star Trek London thing that Anthony Rapp said that there's a lot more Reno this season than last season. So
good. I love Reno.
Yeah. Should be fun.
People agree. Just get Jet back, please.
I know. She's in the preview, so give me more. I'm ready for it. But yeah, I mean, it's the very first episode. We got so much ground to cover. I think it delivered on many ways as a season opener as far as being exciting and setting us up for the rest of the season. I think my only critique was I wish there had been like one or two more notes about some of the internal conflicts between the crew, because that's usually what kind of keeps me interested in their personal growth stories. So
Santi Santo says Stamets is Mary Poppins now, a nanny, and Tilly is like depressed. and let me just say, I think we're all like depressed now. So Tilly's all of us.
There's lots of non-Star Trekky reasons to be depressed in the world right now. There is one big Star Trekky reason that a lot of people who don't live in the U.S. are depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to sum that up for us, Mariah?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it really smells of a deal that went sour in the last hour of whatever happened, which does happen in entertainment, and it's very unfortunate to see that happen. Because I don't think anyone was prepared for that. They had just sent the whole cast over to London to promote it in international audiences, and then said, "Sorry, y'all, we're pulling all of Star Trek off of Netflix for international folks, and Paramount Plus is still figuring out how to do
it's not ready in all territories. Yeah, so a lot of people overseas or not in the US are not getting this season, even though they thought they were.
So on the sneaky, if people want to watch it on Paramount Plus from the US, you can use a way to change your IP address to be in the US to still watch it. So
it rhymes with MEPN.
It rhymes with that.
It VPN?
I think so. And I've heard Las Culturistas has a podcast promo code for a fancy one that you can pay for. So maybe I'll drop that in the Slack for our international folks so that you can get some access points there. So,
and we can probably just put our login info on the screen, right, Mike?
Sure.
Or we can figure that out.
Sure, I'll do that.
Just go ahead and pop that up for anyone who wants to just use our account. Have that.
I mean, here's the thing. I saw someone post like we should boycott or whatever. Here's the thing. It's not it is so many layers of people who have to agree to these things. Ultimately, if you're going to be mad, it's probably more on whoever the distributing partner is. So it's probably something that happened between Netflix and Paramount. And the more that all of these streamers keep waging their wars against each other, the more separated, unfortunately, everything's going to get.
It's not the creative's fault.
Yeah, it's not the creative's fault at all. I don't think any of them were prepared for that based on all of their reactions and the fact that they were going out and doing press for it. So yeah, it's definitely, I mean, if anything, be mad at lawyers, and who doesn't want to be mad at lawyers? Easy place to throw your anger about.
They're the worst unless I need their help.
Yeah.
Lawyers and judges. Fuck them.
Yeah. 100% fuck them today.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a day. Holy cow.
Well, thanks for summing that up. I mean, if maybe we have some international listeners who are in the future catching up with the show a year later and you're just listening to our show, just want to send you a virtual hug. Thank you for sticking around. We love you.
Yeah, thanks for watching us. We know that the United States has destroyed itself by this point. You're watching the show.
We're now the antithesis of the Federation. Thank you. Sorry.
We no longer exist, but we exist on this video.
Yeah.
In your hearts.
We have failed the Kobayashi Maru yet again. All right, guys. So are we pumped for season 4 of Disco?
Yeah, totally pumped. I'm ready. I know why we leak this or why they put it out week to week, but sometimes I wish I could just binge the whole thing because I'm very excited.
Yeah. I've gone back and binged. I binge all the seasons when they're over, but the season I binge the most is season 1. I don't know why. I just really love season 1.
It's a good time.
And just watching it back to back in a binge. I don't know. It's not only is it fun, it makes more sense. You know, the story just makes more sense. I feel closer to the characters that way. But yeah, if it wasn't week to week, then we wouldn't be doing a podcast probably.
Yeah.
So yay, week to week.
I don't know really what to expect from this season. I feel like there was so much excitement in the first season, of course. The second season with the Red Angel stuff and bringing in Spock and all that was also really exciting. And then the third season, we're blasted way into the future. And so again, everything's crazy. It feels like this one is almost just kind of like settling into a couch or something. And I don't know what the big crazy hook is there's something that's destroying this planet of Kaminar, but it's not like I had a deep emotional relationship with not not Kaminar.
Books
I don't even
Planet.
know what it was. Books Planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't like I had a deep emotional attachment to it or anything. So in relation to how the first 3 seasons kicked off, it's hard to kind of maintain that unless they were gonna, blast off into the Chris Pine universe or something. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I guess the big mystery.
Thomas Hill has a good idea. Let's just resolve the anomaly in 5 episodes,
and then just do some fun science exploring.
I would be here for that. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the whole mystery box thing. It kind of feels like that's what this is. Feels kind of like the Red Angel over again, but maybe not as.
Never tired of the mystery box. I love that.
It feels like the Red Angel trope again, but not as like visually powerful. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. But yeah, I'm excited. Lots of fun potential, and I just love this cast so much. So I'm excited to see where they take these characters.
Yeah. Oh, we got a Grant question for you from Nicole here.
Nicole says, sorry for changing topic, but will Grant and Mike Moody Garcia be back with MCU Pod for the new episodes of Hawkeye? I don't know. Mike,
so.
you want to talk about Hawkeye?
Looks like fun.
I can
Maybe.
do that.
Yeah.
It seems like a good Christmas romp. Maybe we'll be back next week.
Is that when it shows up?
I think so. It's the 24th. So maybe we'll start. Maybe. I'm just gonna say maybe watch over and over until we fade out.
Watch our tweets. And you'll see.
I do know that next week is an American holiday, so I guess we will discuss amongst ourselves if we'll be back on Thursday or Friday.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I don't know. I'll be home.
I'll be home. I'll actually be home. I'll be in Austin.
You're coming back already?
I
knew it was sometime in November.
I'm coming back for the holiday, and then I get back to Austin the week of Christmas for good. For good. Yeah.
We missed you.
I got to work on an Austin show, so I'm coming back.
Oh, nice.
We could record in person again.
What? Wild.
If you think
Studio's already. Oh, you're gonna love the changes we made to the studio.
I'm excited.
It's all underwater now.
What? Mm-hmm. I get to be a baul.
It was so weird. It was kind of funny. It was kind of comical when they're having the conference with the Baul and the Kaminar people are like, yeah, okay, what's up? And the Baul are like, oh, well, I think that's an interesting topic. Okay, thanks, Baul. Anyway, what are we having for lunch? Like their voices are
really Baul.
Their voices are so designed to be like Death Eater evil.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy the how different they are from each other, and they're not eating the Kelpians anymore.
Right. Okay, guys, we are super pumped to be back for Discovery Season 4. Thank you so much for watching with us. Thank you so much for listening, and please continue. We're going to be here hopefully every Thursday after each episode of Discovery airs on YouTube, 9 p.m. Central Time. Grant, tell people how they can support us.
You can go to patreon.com/Star Trek Pod, and you can help support us by making the $2 an episode pledge and joining our Star Trek Slack channel to join in a lot of the fun and discussions and watch-alongs. Another way you can help us, of course, is just to spread the word about this show. Tell other people they can tune in Thursdays or Fridays or whenever we put these out. We're super regular, except when we're not. I guess you could give us like 5-star reviews and whatnot, and
all the things,
all the things. But mainly, we just appreciate you guys joining us when we do these live shows. That's a good show of support, and we like getting to chat and hear your thoughts about this show as well live.
Yeah, it's really fun. You can also follow us on social media. It's at Star Trek Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, Karen, who helps run our Twitter account. We appreciate you oh so much.
All right. Guys, where can we find you online, Mariah?
I'm at Mariah Gossett on Twitter and Instagram. And that's Mariah with a Y, a Gossett with 2 S's and 2 T's.
You can find me at Grant. If you just look up the name Grant online, there's only one of them. So that's me.
Ulysses M. Grant.
Oh, two. Okay, there's two of us. Not just make sure you do Grant and then do a minus Ulysses so you don't get any of the Ulysses Grants.
None of those.
Yeah, don't need that.
Find me at Mike Moody Garcia on Insta, on Twitter. We'll be back hopefully next week. Live long and prosper.
Bye.